everyone, TrainFanatic here. So, I have not uploaded a layout update in a long time, just because I haven't. But I thought, got a lot of stuff, so hey, let's make a layout update. So, I'm going to show you all the cool stuff I got with Lionel. I was thinking about splitting the two videos with Lionel and HO. Have the HO layout, different video. Let's take a look at the Lionel stuff, and yeah, show what I got new. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so if you guys are wondering why am I in my laundry, in the parents' laundry room, is because I do not have a permanent spot to set these trains up. I mean, O-gauge is pretty big, and as you can see, it's a 3-rail track and all that stuff. But it just takes up a lot of space. So that's why I every time I set up a layout, this is not even permanent. I tape the wires down, to the things, and I just have to wire up the accessories and the lock-ons and all that stuff together. It sometimes gets tired setting it up and taking it up and tearing it down over and over again, but it's always cool to see these post-war trains running. But that's why I am in my parents' laundry room, is because I have to set up and tear down the set. I mean, I have no place to set it up. But yeah, let's onto the new stuff. So this is one of the new things I got. This is the Northern Pacific 2349 GP9 diesel, built by Lionel, 1959 and 1960 only, and this is a very nice locomotive. The condition on this thing is amazing. I mean, the gold lettering is still gold, basically. I mean, on the inside, there's a horn on the inside. The horn on the inside is amazing. It works and stuff. I don't have the battery in, because these post-war locomotives, they don't take the electricity. Well, they do. They take DC power from the diode inside the transformer to trigger a relay inside the locomotive. But for the diesels, they used D-size batteries, and it's a pretty hectic job to get a D-size battery into one of the post-war locomotives, because once the relay is turned upside down, that triggers the horn, and since there's no track power, the horn just starts buzzing. But this has a 3-directional position unit, or E unit, has 2 headlights at each end, and it has magnet traction. Oh, where's the magnet traction? There it is. Yeah, it's underneath the trucks there. It's not like the 44-tonner where you can see the magnet traction axle, but it's a pretty good puller. I read this thing could pull 12 to 16 cars on a flat stretch of track. Not only did I get this GP9 diesel, but you might have seen on some of my videos, but I got an entire set. Now, I did not show this to you. You might have seen it in that 4th of July video that I did with the Norfolk and Western Spirit of America set. But I didn't pull it out and run it, waiting in the video. But I ran this thing. I got this thing on my birthday before I went to Roanoke, which was the beginning of May. I did not only get the locomotive and cars in fantastic shape, but I got the original box too. So let me open the box and show you what's inside. So before we take a look inside the box, this Lionel train set is number 1623W. Again, it included the Northern Pacific 2349 GP9, the Lionel 3512 ladder car, the 6424 flat car with 2 premium automobiles. We got a red one, and we got a white one. These are the premium automobiles from Lionel. They have moving wheels and windshields and bumpers and all that stuff on them. Then this is the 6062 New York Central gondola with 3 cable reels, and the 3435 traveling aquarium car. Yes, the fish actually do spin. I mean, move with Lionel's vibrator technology. And a 6017 Caboose. Now, one thing interesting about this Caboose has 17 variations, different variations, and I figured out what it is, but I forget already. So, looking at the box, this set came with all the original packaging for the GP9. Has the original inserts. These windows haven't been popped out yet. Has all the original instructions in blue ink. We have the train outfit, how to put the set together, how to put the lock-on and all that good stuff. And how they open up and nothing's ripped or anything. Hold on, let me just open it up. It explains how to operate the train, what happens if there's a short. Basically, it tells you about everything about the set. I mean, how to take care of track, about your transformer. I mean, yeah, Lionel warranty. I mean, it has everything on it. And this set was $19.59 only. It just doesn't have the. This set doesn't have the. Just doesn't have the layout, the train set car, but also has operating. All the cars for operating. Now, what's cool about this fire ladder car is there's a rubber band that's on one of the trucks. I'll show you here in a minute. But the rubber band spins around the truck when the train's moving down the track, and it moves the shroud on the lamp, and it spins it, make it look like a rotary beacon. And then this little fireman up here, he actually swivels back and forth. And yes, you can manually crank the ladder there, so it can extend out, and you can change the boom angle and all that stuff. It tells you about the ladder and lamp replacement and the drive mechanism. And there's a little illustration about the pulley system I was talking about. I'll flip it over and show you. The pulley is not working on the car, but the rubber band melted off and all that stuff. But yeah, line on warranty, all that stuff. I decided to get the aquarium car. Yes, all these manuals are in great condition. Super happy to have these. And this is showing, talking about Lionel's vibrotor technology and how it inside works, and where's the on and off switch for the motor control, and all that stuff. And we have, I believe this is the GP9. Yes, this is the Lionel GP9. Now the GP9 manual talks about how to lubricate and oil it, and where all the things are, like the disc couplers and the Ian lever, which is on the underneath side. It talks about the horn, how to insert the horn battery. There it is there. You have to take that fuel tank cover off and then place the D-size battery horn in. Talks about servicing information, how to service the locomotive and all that stuff. Again, the Lionel warranty. And then it explains a little bit of history on the GP9 diesel, built by General Motors Electromotive Division. Yep, 1,500 horsepower, excuse me. And it talks about magnet traction and uncoupling and all that good stuff. And then the final little paper in here is a important thing telling you to lubricate all axles of the the wheels and tender, if you have a tender, which this locomotive, it's a diesel, it doesn't need a tender. But all these boxes are in amazing shape. I mean, here is the 3512 operating fireman ladder car. As you can see, the insert is not been punched out yet, but inside it looks nice. The other flap on the end looks nice. I mean, it has the really cool Lionel Corporation with the little switcher and all the freight cars saying Lionel Corporation, New York, Chicago, and all that stuff. Yeah, all the boxes are in amazing shape. I mean, meaning amazing. Most of them are. I mean, this the flat car with the cars on it. This one, it has a little bit of tears, but it's okay. It has the original New York Central and Great Northern box insert, very cool. And the transformer does work. The horn, the red button is a horn button. So if you wanted to, since the locomotive had a horn, of course it would have a horn button on the transformer. The 6017 Caboose, I'm not going to pull it out because it's in there nice and good. Yeah, 6017-1. What else do we have here? The 6062 gondola, the New York Central gondola. And then we have the 3435 aquarium car. I mean, I just love these orange and blue boxes. Even though they're not the earlier post-store ones like I have for the 93 water tank and the 2466 whistling tender and the lighted lock-on. But still, these are really cool. I mean, look at that. Let me put it on the ground. Look at that, even though it's a glare. Look at that. Lionel Electric Trains. Ain't that cool? Lenny the Lion. Let's see a good look at Lenny. There he is. But yeah, this set was, my eyes lit up when my mother brought it down the steps, and I was sitting there, and my eyes just lit up, and I was like, oh boy, what is this? And I opened it up, and lo and behold, it was a Lionel Electric Train set. But, yeah, I'll throw a video up of the horn working. Horn works amazing in this locomotive. It's a pretty nice horn. I mean, it's not what you call realistic to today's standards, but it was Lionel. I mean, Lionel was the lead engineering in Lionel trains of toy trains back in the day. But yeah, let me get the setup together, and I'll show you the aquarium car and the fire car and all the stuff. Here's the Lionel aquarium car, the 3435 aquarium car, and underneath here, as you can see, is the vibrotor motor. And there's a switch right here, and that turns the aquarium car on. So let me just... This thing is quite loud, but the fish do swim around and all that stuff, as you can see. Oh, I'll take a little bit of time off. Okay, now we have the aquarium car switched off. I'll show you the 3512 fire ladder car. So let me move that car down here. So here's the fire and ladder 3512 fire ladder car. As you see, here's the red light. Now if I take this lens off, as you can see, so if I spin this this shield here, you see the fireman moves down here. I put that back on. So that thing's supposed to be spinning around while the fireman up here is supposed to be going back and forth and stuff. So I'll show you the rubber band mechanism. So here's the underside of the 3512 fire and ladder car. On this truck right here, we have the pickup roller for the light, and then over here we have the trucks. Now, as you can see, the axle here looks weird because it's like a sticky substance for the rubber band to stick on instead of the metal, usual metal axle that you get. But here's the band thing where the rubber band will wrap around. The old rubber band is melted to the truck, but as the wheels would turn around, the rubber band would be on the wheels, and then it would go around the shaft, which control the light, which makes the fireman move. So, I think that's actually pretty clever for a freight car. I mean, yeah, it's unique. It's a unique freight car to have on a railroad. Alright, now one thing I forgot to show you is I forgot to mention that these ladders on the side here actually are movable, and they're made of some kind of metal, but you could, stand them up, and then you could, put them against a house or a building, and you'd have a little play scene going on, all that stuff. But, yeah, here's the ladder extension. The first crank here moves the ladder out. As you can see there, I was not the best at this, doing it one-handed, holding the camera. Yeah, it goes up pretty far, and then the other one, hopefully not by not knocking over the mark stamp, controls the boom. I decided to turn the car around to the other side so I could show you how to lower the boom. But like this, like that, like magic, the boom is raised, and you can rescue a person trapped in a house or trapped in a burning switch tower or anything like that. So you have it, the 3512 fireman ladder car. So here's what the whole train set looks like together. Now this set came with 0-27 track, and there was another set that the 2349 Jeep, Northern Pacific Jeep came in, which was a Super O set, and that had all space and military equipment, rocket cars and all that stuff like that. And that was a Super O set with a figure 8. Now, I'll show you this. I got this for Christmas last year, but this is Greenberg's guide to pocket price guide to Lionel trains, and this has everything from pre-war, post-war, modern era, special releases and club cars and all that stuff. And there's a section in the back for boxes and sets and all that stuff. And this set, in this book for 2017, this set is $1,600 priced value. I know that's pretty crazy for a Lionel set. But I'm happy to have this book because it's been helping me to price out some of the stuff, my Lionel stuff I have here. On a side note, I picked up this Pennsylvania Railroad Baby Ruth boxcar off eBay a couple weeks ago. It's a very nice boxcar. It has all the original components, the step-ups, and the brake wheel on the end here. The only problem is the brakeman walk, what do you call this? I forget what it is. I've had a brain fart. Anyway, this end here is broken off. But the doors operate, both doors are here. Nice and functioning order. This is a very nice car for one of Lionel's earliest post-war pieces. It has staple-end trucks, has slider shoes, instead of having electromagnetic couplers and all that stuff. But it's a very nice boxcar. I'm happy to have it. Okay, back to the 1623W 1959 set. Something interesting is I was looking on Facebook, and some guy was selling the locomotive box. So I'll go back down here to the box here. Someone was selling the entire box, no locomotive, the insert there, the whole entire box, and shape for $150 or bucks, whatever you want to call them, $150. I say it's pretty nuts, but I'm happy to have this this complete set in order. All the freight cars have disc couplers, and all the freight cars are very, very nice. I do like all the freight cars in the set, including the flat car with the automobiles. The New York Central Gon's nice. The aquarium car is really cool, and I really like the ladder car. The 6017, I usually run this set with my 6517 bay window Caboose because I think it just looks cooler, and plus these cars are more to scale. Now if I get something like the Baby Ruth box car I just showed and put it next to this ladder car here, as you can see, I know it's not the best lined up thing, but yeah, this was at a point when Lionel started. They were deep into introducing more to scale freight cars. I mean, the box cars that they had here were, you know, very small. They were fit for the 027 track and for the smaller steam locomotives they had. Once they got into more scale things like the Northern Pacific Jeep here, and they started introducing more to scale freight cars. That started happening around 1955 and stuff. But yeah, I really like this set. So let's take this set for a spin. Also inside the 1623W set box was this number 417 Mark's bell ringing signal. It's a really nice little accessory. Basically, it has two little contacts that you wire up to the back of the thing, and it uses track power via a Lionel lock-on, and it detects the train, sort of like the 154 contactor, where it makes a very short insulated block to make the lights flash. This makes a little light flash and has the bell ring. So that was in the short video there, the thing running. Has the original box, the flaps are there, everything. And I don't know if that's the original price, but look at that. $1, oh, let's get in focus. $1.98 for that bell ringing signal. So you're wondering why I have a tender sitting here. Well, this is the old tender to my 2035. This is a model 2466WX tender. Now this tender went to only a few locomotives in the post-war era, including the 224, the 1666, a variation of the 2020 turbine, and 2025 and the 675. Those are different styles of K4s. This is the original tender I purchased at the auction a year ago. That's crazy. I've had Lionel trains for over a year, and I got a lot of stuff already. But finally, I have found the correct tender for my 2035. Here it is. The 6466 whistling tender. This was supposed to go with it. This is the correct tender to go to the 2035. And what's nice about this one is it works. It whistles. Let me get a quick demonstration. Track power on. Okay, maybe I need more track power. You know, I know why it's not working. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now let's give this thing some juice. Ready? Ain't it beautiful? The inside on this thing is amazing. Now hold on, let me turn the track bar off before I shock myself, and then next thing I know I'm going to the hospital. Alright, so open this thing up. This thing looks brand new. My goodness, this thing fantastic shape. Hold on just a second. Hold on, I'll get back to you as soon as I get the shell off, because the shell's finicky. Oh, finally got the shell off. Anyway, this is what it looks on the inside. This is like 10 times better shape than the 2466 whistling tender that I had. Here's a view of the relay and the motor itself. I mean, everything in here looks amazing. The coilings look amazing. The, all the wiring and everything. Now, there's a little bit of arcing on the tender, but I think I solved that with some contact cleaner and a little bit of oil on the armature here. Not the armature, that's the rod thing, whatever it is. I forget. The relay is good. I'll just give a demonstration with the tenders open right now. I love that sound. I can't wait to run this around the Christmas tree this year. But yeah, this was a great purchase. I found it at an antique shop, and I was like, hey, it's the right tender. The tender was a loan. I was like, well, why not? It was a good price. And now I have the correct tender to go to my 2035, which is my biggest steam locomotive I have right now. I have no plans what to do with the 2466. I was thinking about selling it, but then I was thinking about repairing it, cleaning it up, maybe getting the locomotive to go to it, maybe a 1666 or the 224. But this tender is entirely different to the 6466 tender. The insides, as you can see, this part bulks out here. The motor's still here. The relay's there. Doesn't have a colored whistle chamber like the 6466 does. Now, I don't know if that's a repaired part or it's a refurbished part or whatever, but I'm happy it works, and it's the shell on here is just amazing. I mean, Lionel lines on both sides. I mean, it's just great shape compared to the ill-fated and dusty and dirty 2466 tender shell. Even the inside, that's ugh. The 6466, clean as a whistle. Get it? It's a whistling tender. Yeah, I made that joke up. But I still have no plans what to do with this tender. But I'm going to keep it for now. But both these tenders, they have staple end trucks, a shoe in the tender on the coupler, so it can uncouple. Yeah. So both tenders. I mean, they're a bit different. I feel like the 2466 is a bit bigger than the 6466, but of course they're missing the metal band around the water fill hatch area up here. But I don't really mind that. I mean, variation is nice to have with tenders and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm super happy. I have a whistling tender now, and I can just retire this one, say goodbye, and just to show you how it looks with the 2035. So here's what the 2035 looks like with the 6460 whistling tender. Oh, it just looks great. I mean, look at that. See, doesn't it look good when the correct tender is on the correct locomotive? But I'm super happy. Even though 2035 has a couple, paint chips and all that stuff, it's an amazing runner. Got to fix the smoke unit. Yeah, the unit's fine. Magnet traction works. My older brother, is helping me clean the drivers up. But magnet traction, smoke, 3-position unit, made 1950, 1951 only. Boy, I like the 2035 a lot. Even though it's not a fully scale locomotive like the 773 Hudson, but still, I don't mind though. It's modeled after a K4, the Pennsy K4. But yeah, I am super happy to have the correct tender. Oh, I forgot to mention. No, I was wrong. The 2466 has a shoe on for the coupler to uncouple it on a UCS track, but this tender has the electromagnetic coupler, even though it has staple end trucks, because that was 1950, 1949, whenever they switched it over. So I'll give you a little demonstration of the thing running and the whistle blowing. Okay, you may be wondering why I have my Scout out again. Well, I've been doing a lot of research from the last video, and I figured out that the set I have here is incorrect. Well, the only thing that's incorrect is the Caboose. The Caboose is supposed to be a PRR N5 tin type Caboose. I figured this out, again, using the price guide and the sets in the background. So what I need to do is, in order to complete this entire set, is I need to buy a PRR N5 tin type. Let me open up the book and show you what the number is. So here's the set right here. This is set number 1431. It includes the 1654, which I have, the tender, non-whistling tender, the 2452X, which is the Pennsylvania gondola, and the 2465, which is the Sunoco two-dome tank car. And the 2472, that's the PRR N5 tin type, which was made in 1947. And this set was made in 1947. What's funny is the 1431W, which is the whistling tender variation, the same set, just the locomotive came with the whistling tender, is less valued than the set without the whistle in the tender. Very interesting. And here's the 1623W, the Northern Pacific freight set, C1959. Includes the Jeep9 and all the cars. And there's the price right there. $1,600 bucks, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I was super shocked when the book said it was that much. See, here it is outlined in a very crappy outline I drew. PRR N5 Caboose tin type, 2472, 1946 to 47. That's the Caboose I need to get in order to create or finish the entire set. Now, what's interesting is there's the 2465, and then on the next page over, down here somewhere, where is it at? It's, no, it's the other page. Silly me. I forget. Anyway, there's the 2452X Pennsylvania gondola, which is on the opposite page of the two cars that the one car that I need and the tank car. And then a couple pages over, there's the 1654 with the tender and then the whistling tender variation, and of course the price is the vary in that. But if you're selling Lionel trains, or you want to sell them to anybody, get this book. This book is a very good tool to use when selling and pricing out Lionel trains. I mean, going to train shows and antique stores, I take this with me and I say, oh, that's a little bit too much, or that's a perfect price, or that's a bargain, or whatever you say. This book is a very good book to have if you're going to be looking for Lionel trains or selling Lionel trains, anything. Modern, pre-war, post-war, special club cars, sets, boxes, everything's in this book. I recommend it. I 100% recommend it that you get this book if you're selling Lionel trains. They come out with a new edition each year. This is the first edition I have ever gotten. I've never gotten any one before because I've just started collecting Lionel trains over a year ago. And yeah, definitely get this book. It's lots of pages of material. I mean, there's 12. I love it. 12,000 modern era products. That's the modern era. I discovered now with this book that the modern era runs from 1970 when General Mills bought Lionel, which is classed as the MPC era, when General Mills purchased him in 1970, and 2017 is still the modern era. So the modern era is from 1970 to 2017, but there is variations inside the modern era, which is including the General Mills era, which is from 1970 to 19. Ooh, see, I don't know the specific dates, but I know there's a date. I know there's an era called the Richard Kuhn era, where Richard P. Kuhn bought Lionel, and he changed everything. He invented rail sounds and scale freight cars, and brought the 700E scale Hudson back, and all that good stuff. And of course, then there's the LLC era, which we're in right now with what's his name, the owner of Lionel, Howard Hitchcock. Howard Hitchcock, that's him. We're sort of classed in the LLC era now, and we've been in Legacy and Lion Chief and all that stuff. I don't think I'll be purchasing any Lion Chief engines, but I'm actually looking out for. I've been actually looking out for some MTH Proto Sound 1 locomotives, just because I'm a huge fan of the QSI sound chips that are used actually inside the MTH locomotives. I could purchase them in HO, but Broadway Limited, Blue Line, and Paragon only have those QSI chips inside of them, which I really like the sounds in those. I would also get some Lionel Mighty Sound of Steam. I'm picking up a Lionel 785 Hudson. My say is on that. If you're going to get a 773 Hudson post-war, I say no to that. I would say buy yourself a reproduction. I mean, they made plenty of Hudsons in the MPCR. They made the 783, the 785, the Boston Albee 784. I mean, if you're going to get a Hudson, I'm going to get myself a modern era one. I mean, it has a liquid smoke unit, mighty sound of steam, steam chest smoke, magnet traction. I mean, has things like the drivers, unlike a steam locomotive, they have the see-through drivers and all that stuff. And plus with that, I wouldn't be spending $1,600 for a Postwar one. I could purchase one for maybe $300. Still, I'd get a Hudson, but even though it's not Postwar, I don't mind getting reproduction stuff. Now, for like things like simple things like freight cars and accessories and all that stuff, I'd buy Postwar. But some modern variations, like when they re-released the 34-35 aquarium car in the MPC era, the vibrator motor was very, very quiet, and so that's what I've heard Lionel collectors say, that the MPC aquarium car this is much better because it operates better and it's quieter and it's all that good stuff. But yeah. But also with buying the 785 reproduction Hudson is that I could buy the reproduction Madison cars, which included a baggage car and then the coaches, and then the observation car was released a little bit later in the 90s, I think, or whenever the 785 was released, which was 1980. Oh boy, I'd have to look that up. I forget when the 785s were released. Anyway, if I remember when the 785 was released, I'll put it in the description below. But anyway, yeah, that's what I say. If you're gonna buy reproduction stuff, yeah, buy reproduction. I mean, not things like the 773 and stuff. I mean, that I'll buy reproduction for, but maybe things. I mean, maybe a turbine. Lionel released the 6200 Famous American Railroads 5 series locomotive set that they did, because they had the Famous American Railroads series, which included the Great Northern, the Union Pacific, the Santa Fe, and the Southern. And the Pennsy was the last one released in 1985. And that was when they thought it'd be a great idea to change where the factory was placed, because the whole MPC era up to 1983, the factory was in St. Clemens, Michigan. Then they thought it was a good idea to put it to Mexico. And that Hudson, the 783 Hudson, which was one of the very first Hudsons full-scale Hudsons that they made, and that turbine were produced in the Mexican factory. And the Mexican factory, it ran from 83 to 85, then they brought it back up to St. Clemens, Michigan. It's kind of hard to say. But, yeah, I'd love to buy the turbine, the 6200 turbine, because it has everything the Postwar locomotives had. They had the eccentric rod, which was on the 682. They had the big 6-wheel truck tender, which was on some of the variations. And I was thinking, if I'm going to buy a turbine, why not buy reproduction as well? I mean, it has oil smoke unit, mighty sound of steam, 3-position unit. I mean, you get all the good stuff, and magnet traction too. And you get that eccentric rod for maybe the same price of a Postwar one, where you don't have an eccentric rod, oil smoke unit. Maybe you get the 2020, which is the 1946 version, which has the bulb for the smoke unit. Instead of using drops, you have to liquidize. It has to melt the pellets and stuff. I mean, I'd say go buy reproduction for things like the Hudson and the turbine. Yeah, but if you also want like a mini Hudson, like the 2046 or the 2056, go buy a Blue Comet MPC locomotive and the full passenger consist. I mean, it's not just a black locomotive; it's in color. And my older brother Preston, he says that the MPC stuff was cheap. I don't agree with that, because some of the Postwar stuff, 1969, 68, that stuff was cheap. I mean, the MPC stuff, some of the sets were cheap, but lower end sets. But the high end sets, they had big diesels and steam engines with 3-position units and smoke and magnet traction and all that good stuff. And pull more motors, which is the new design, because pull more, could give you more pull for your locomotive and stuff. But they had tabbed couplers and electromatic couplers, and they just had great sets and stuff. And plus, what I like about the MPC era is the locomotives and stuff are colorful. I mean, look at my collection of cars here. I mean, they're all bland colors. You don't see greens and blues and oranges and red, except for the Baby Ruth boxcar and the 34-35 aquarium car. I mean, look at the locomotives. I mean, they're all black and stuff, and of course the, I have twin Pacific engines, was ironic, because I never thought for Christmas I'd pick up the 628 44 tonner, and then in May I'd get the nor the Pacific GP9. Same road names. I don't know why. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, the post-war era is good. The modern era is good. Pre-war era, yeah, it was good. Even though I don't have any, well, yeah, I have a pre-war item. This is the 93 water tower. I learned that this is the rare gray variation. I've seen silver post-war 93 water towers, but this is the only gray one I've ever seen, which is mine, which I own, which includes 2 different types of boxes, the cardboard and then the orange and blue boxes and stuff. But one last thing to show you all. Oh, and also, the Scout set does not include this 3559 dump car. It's actually an add-on car. One last thing. This 6457 SP style Caboose. Look at them. This Caboose I got from my older brother on my birthday. This is one of Lionel's most high-end Cabooses. This includes ladders, toolboxes, chimney, brake wheels and more ladders, and interior illumination. So this is one of Lionel's high-end Cabooses. I think this Caboose was produced, yeah, 1947. If I can read it. There you go. So yeah, comparing this to the 6017, which is a post-war, SP style Caboose, how cheap it is. I mean, it doesn't have all the fancy stuff like this does. But the 2057 doesn't have any of the stuff except for brake wheels. Yeah, this is another Caboose that has a light in it. And I'm super happy I have this because then I can put it behind the 2035 and make it look really cool and stuff. I'm super happy I have this too. This is a very nice car to have. It has electromagnetic couplers on both ends of the car. Has very bright interior illumination. The bulb is a big bulb. I don't know why Lionel chose a big bulb, but it's very, very nice. One final thing to show you. And the final thing to show you, it's a small one. I just got interior illumination inside my Pennsy 6417 N5C Caboose. Basically, I went to a hobby shop, got the wire clip and the wire, because I already had a pickup roller on it. My father wired it up, and now it has a light, and I'm super happy about that. So that's all the new stuff for the post-war stuff. The Pennsylvania and Appalachian Railroad HO scale update will be coming soon, and see you all around. TrainFanatic signing off. Cut.